Let's see. Alright, let's look at some units. Okay, so right out of the gate, Milim, I think if you go Speed Milim needs to be a bit faster, and I think Speed Milim needs Book. That's a pretty clean build, though. Don't have a book to go around? What are your book distribution on? Stenny, Cdom. I think on a standard account, a book on Milim is more important than a book on Cdom. I mean, the account's like 10-month old, so it's, if this is its like fastest set of gear, like you can't really ask for any more than that. Like 13, 15, 12, 16, 12, and the 24 Krau. Jesus Christ, these boots are insane. Here's the thing, right? If you get to like plus 24, plus 27, I would just run that. Cause like imagine you run this unit with like, I don't know, Hand Guy or like Emilia or even like a Cidd, right? Like any unit that goes first, you have enough souls. The guild's most frequent 20+ speed roller. I wouldn't be surprised. This account seems pretty solid for 10 months. I think the only thing, I would say the only thing to work on is get her a book, but like you already know that, and then if you could somehow go up 10 speed from here, 10, 15 speed, you're probably good. Let's see. Iseria looks fine. There's just the tuning on the Iseria suggests to me the account is pretty fast, because most people go 250. 260 means like you have multiple openers past 300 speed. Wait, whoops. That's a misclick. 19, 16, 16, 6, 15. Effectiveness and attack. Pretty solid. Landy. I think the Landy's too squishy at 220 speed. So the way I look at Landy tuning, I look at it this way. If the faster you go on Landy, the less it is necessary for you to have bulk. And then the slower you are, the tankier you need to be on Landy. Just because the slower you are, the more likely it is you get knocked out of Guiding Light. And the more it is you get knocked out of Guiding Light, think about it this way, right? So at 223 speed, if you get knocked out of Guiding Light, then you need to be able to tank things that come in at like 230, 240 speed. And at 230, 240 speed, there's definitely a lot of things that kill this, right? Like, sure, you can stabilize, but the key thing here is that you don't want to get one-shotted for free. You don't want your landing to get picked off, so I definitely say, like, pump up your bulk and try to go less damage. Alright, let's see. I don't think you need the immunity. Yeah, like, Landy's a gear score unit, right? I'm not sure you would want, like, a flat attack ring with percentage attack rolled. Everything seems pretty fine gear score wise. I feel like your main stat stacks you on gear score here. Because, like, if you're if you're using attack percentage ring, right? So imagine this. If you're using an attack percentage ring, and this is like 22% defense instead, you would actually be a lot tankier, right? and then your bulk or your damage can just go to something else. Green Celine. Green Celine, I think this Green Celine's way too slow. I think if you want Green Celine to be a playable unit, she's either like 220 speed plus, or she needs to be a little bit bulky, preferably both. She's 423 gear score on Fribbles, yeah, but like, here's the thing, right? If your attack percentage ring and your 423 gear score, that's a 423 gear score build. But if you're using this and it's like 45% on the main stat, that's like a 403 gear score on Fribbles, right? Because you can't count all main stats the same way. It's the same as when somebody runs a crit chance neck, technically the build is like plus 22 gear score, right? It swings the needle a lot if you use a more advantageous main stat. Don't just look at gear score and be like, ooh, gear score, like, you know, I know a streamer that said this is a gear score unit. Like, it's more than just about gear score, right? You want to have, like, the most practical stat line you can get. Celine's Guild War Slave. Does the Guild War Slave need to be holding this level of gear? There isn't a Fribble setting for effective gear scoring. There's no shot, man. I wish there was, so I would just use that. I don't think a Guild War Slave should be holding gear this good. You definitely, like, change some gear out, for sure. Like, you can pry her lower on your Fribble's priority and she'll probably still be usable. Because if your goal for, like, your end game is to hit Emperor, you don't need your GVG units to be on Primo gear. Proudest unit Stenny, though. It's pretty bulky. 200 speed. I think chest could use some work. Flat HP, though, not the worst stat on Stenny. Good ring. Okay, this account has some pretty insane, like, good DPS boots. I think the only thing you might want to improve on is, like, a little bit more speed. I think 200 speed might be a little bit slow. I prefer 210. I definitely feel like some matchup differences where at 210 you would be outspeeding a few 200 units and you would either be surviving things that would kill you or you get to kill stuff before they kill you. IG and molecules at home. I think, like, you give this account some time, it'll look a lot closer to IG and molecules. Do you want to know the sauce? It's like, if it's a sauce from my buddy Square, sure. If it's the sauce from the villain STG, like, I'm good. Had one Moonlight pull and got Lionheart. Nice, nice. I'm assuming no tooth. This, the sauce trust. It's like, how about no? I'm gonna close this tab. I think if you play standard, you actually slow down this build to be tankier. I'm talking about, like, cause I know the stat line. So on one stack, an A Ravi would be able to kill you. Let's see. No Merciless Glutton either, huh? Yeah, that's how you know this is like a real 10-month account. Yeah, so I'd definitely say, like, slow down this build for more bulk. Cause a APOC Ravi would be able to kill this, S3 kill this with no mitigation off of 1 stack. If you have a Glutton, you should be on Glutton. Yeah, like assuming if it's like plus 15 like this thing, you probably want to be on Glutton instead. Would never draft without mitigation. I think there are certain builds when you want to play aggressive enough, you have to play without mitigation. Because if you look at the way my Hwayoung is, even on like 2 stacks, 3 stacks, sometimes I would not die to a Ravi, right? Depending on the a Ravi. If there's an attack buff or something like that, then I die to a Ravi. Basically, the idea is your Hwayoung should be living as many stacks as possible on a Ravi. It's a lot of crit stats and FRES. I think like this is kind of the best this account can get at the moment, Ape. It's a 10-month-old account. So I think some stuff's like forgivable. Like this could probably roll to defense. This you roll to crit for sure. Right, if you keep it on Hwayoung, you roll that to defense. Yeah, what's up, Angelica? Hey, all good. Cidd. That's strange. This unit's faster than the one on my account. Huh. Strange. Oh, strange. This sword is better than the best sword on my account. 22, 16, 20, 23. Okay, it's better than my best neck. Nice, nice. 17, same as mine. Yeah, that's pretty well built. I think this runs your Wind Rider. I would test out Wind Rider and see if you like it. Don't have that neck? Yo, same. Yeah, I just think Wind Rider, like, if you already have damage stats and you already have, like, max crit, you just go Wind Rider. How much crit are you over by? Like 3%? You're fine. Politis. I'm trying to figure out if, like, a non-aggressive Politis is fine. I think as is, it's fine. But when you have a copy of Book for her, she should carry Book and swap to a more aggressive build. I think it's fine. You can go Bruiser Politis, but you should make her tankier. You don't need as much damage on a Bruiser Politis. She just needs to exist. Otherwise, like, I think your speed is fine, right? You don't need this much damage either, right? I think that's kind of overrated. But you definitely need more bulk. What I would say is when you have a dedicated Book for her, that's when you swap her over to Book. Right, which is like you just set your speed to 250, crit to like as low as you're comfortable with, and take highest MCDS. That's literally how you build Politis on any account. But until you have a Book, I don't think you need to do that. You can keep a Bruiser one. It's all good. Crozet, you can drop some res for more HP. Assuming you don't have a sack. Yeah, no sack, it is what it is. Yo, what's up, Tristan? How you doing? I think you're wasting 70 gear score in F and res, but I think that's just an account age issue, right? Like, as you get more pieces of gear, you move stats out of these two slots, it's going all into HP and a little bit of speed, and your build is, like, complete. MMO sleep schedule? Hey, yo, you too, brother? Watcher. I think Watcher could drop like 15 speed and you'll still be fine. Like, you kind of need to measure it up with yourself, right? Do you need the 230 speed? Kara, I mean, I think Kara can just run on whatever gear. I don't think she matters too much. Hand guy, I actually think this hand guy's built out pretty well. Like, super tanky. Yeah, like, this is kind of the way right now, unless you have a specific reason to build hand guy faster. Okay, STG, I know you're spamming that Queemo, but, like, where's the Queem, like, square, you know? Okay. This AOL is pretty identity crisis. I kind of don't know where to begin with this AOL build. But I do think you slow her down to, like, 230, go 100, 130 on F and res, and then go as tanky as you can. How am I digging my liver, Dom? I mean, she's a pretty good unit. Like, I don't think she's OP or anything, but she's really strong. Yeah, if you have a hard time building Choux, like, just go on a crit set. That's kind of what I did. Made her fast enough to go before those. Here's the thing about 265 AOL. You just go tankier than them. I don't think good players will ever pick Rylot into AOL, right? If somebody picks like a speed Rylot into you, you're never surviving like with this, even on proof. That's not gonna do it for you. So you just slow her down, make her tanky. Cause she needs like 1600 defense, like 18k HP, right? That's kind of like the most premium like slow AOLs. So you should try to push for a stat line like that. A lot of it from like the free AI gear should be able to push up, you know, your stat line for that. Yappe. Okay, so it's like, this is kind of identity crisis because you're not fast enough to play speed AOL, right? Like you have a pretty good hand guy, so you can play hand guy AOL, but I think you need like 15 more speed. As far as the artifact goes, you have a Spirit's Breath. If you really want to stick to playing fast AOL, you need to run the Spirits, right? Aside from that, like if you want to go
you guys
proof, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Then you just slow down and go way tankier. It's like goodbye. Everything is on cooldown now. Oh. I want to build Choux on pen and counter. Money Man, what is the math on pen set value for a unit that already penetrates defense by 70%? Have you done the math on that? Is this a good XDD? Let's see. Yeah, it adds logarithmically. So it takes away the 70% from the S2, and then it penetrates 15% of the 30% that's left. But yeah, moving on though. Counter Mercedes, I think this is fine. Pretty terrorist when it comes out. A Ravi. You're A Ravi? This is so squishy. I think you drop 20 speed for bulk. I also don't think at sub 24k HP and sub 1200 defense you try to maintain 290 crit damage. It's pretty greedy. The neck is terrible. Pull up. This is good. This is good. That's pretty good. I mean, I wouldn't say it's terrible. I just don't think it's an A Ravi neck. Right? Also, something like this, if you get a better gem for it, right? You definitely want that. Also, I probably wouldn't run like, I don't know, 14 speed on A Ravi. You could drop this by 20 speed and think you'd be fine. Like, on a speed set, she could actually, like, take no speed on almost any subs. Do you also, what's your pre-bans for RTA? Because I'm assuming if you run Crimson Seed, you perma pre-ban Hwayoung. Because there's no way you can play this into Hwayoung. See, Lilius ran. How do you deal with Hwayoungs? Yeah, you're welcome to show any build. But like, if I'm reviewing somebody's account, unless I'm like taking a break, usually I'll try to like go through as much of their account as possible. Banner first pick. I think like she goes on proof. She's just way too squishy in general, right? I don't think you should be comparing like your gear to mine piece by piece. But I think you should be within like, I don't know, let's say like 100 defense and 1k HP, right? Like we have the same crit damage. You have a lot more attack, which I don't think is super necessary, right? You're down like 200 defense, which I think is way too much, and then you're down like 2,000, like more than 2,000. It's 3,000 HP actually. So I think you should just drop a lot of speed. Yeah, and I think you just run her on proof. When you run her on proof, you don't need to ban Hwayoung. You just tank the Hwayoung with her. Green Violet, I don't think matters too much right now. Speed boots? Oh, not speed boots. I don't really think he matters. But basically, you just have to know that if you're running crit set and not immunity, you can't play her. You can't play him into. You can't play him into Iseria. I think your A Ross also needs to be geared for PvP. Because if you play standard right now, based on what I'm seeing, like no FCC, right? So your A Ross needs to be, pretty much needs to be on the best side of your tank gear. Blue Krau, I think Blue Krau's more or less fine. I think Blue Krau could go slower. A lot of your units have a lot of speed. Alright, let's see, what is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, damn, Rug is just like going all out. Yeah, I don't recommend base speed A Ravi on counter, like... I would say if you're going counter set, you want at least like 150, 160, even at the slowest build. You need speed boots. right? Because if you go base speed on counter, what happens if I just ignore the A Ravi? I kill everything else. It's like the time someone made a 20k HP green violet to be a terrorist. Yeah, dude, I wonder who would do that. An absolute fatherless behavior, man. Definitely, I am not associated with that individual. Yeah, that random someone. I have no idea who that is. Yeah, it's like, wow. Peak Remlet era, like season 5. Like, I wouldn't have no clue what type of fatherless individual would pull up with that type of build, man. Absolutely not my guild leader, you know what I mean? Not who, but why? I do believe the answer is because fuck Cleaver's Lamau. Not that I would talk to them every day and I would know exactly what they say, right? But you know how that goes. Ah, okay, yeah. I think that's a better build, right, Tristan? I just don't think she needs like 220 speed. Unless you're playing really aggressively, I think she's fine at like 180 speed. I also think like A Ravi's defense is enough once you go past like 1190. Like, if you're close to 1200 or you're more, like, you're good. Second A Ravi is 180 on counter. Alright, bet. Yeah, if you have a second one at like reasonable speed, I think that's good. Ah, okay, it's these boots. Nice, nice. I have one of these too. That's pretty sick. I think these boots are better on Soul Weavers though, because like Blue Krau's base HP is real high. And then she brings people back? Yeah, but like, what are you gonna do if someone just takes like Hangai Hwayoung OQC? You're just kind of like checked in every direction, right? Yeah, I mean, I think if the build works for you, it's fine. But if you pick her as a default unit and you get walled off at some point, it's one of the things you want to like evaluate. Designer Lilibet, good speed, slightly low damage, but like good bulk, so I think that's fine. .303 Peira. Huh. Strange. You ever just like run this and upgrade some DPS units or nah? Also, this is another pretty easy upgrade for DPS units. Huh. Strange. That's better than my speed set chest. Draco saves the crit damage. I mean, it's like okay, right? My understanding is usually for damage designer Lilibets, you go 2k defense with 300 crit damage. I mean, it's like okay, right? I don't think it's like bad and then it needs to be saved. I just don't think it's amazing. $19, $17. I think that's fine. 2k 300 portrait, yeah. Let's see. Everything else seems like it more or less works. Haste. Here's the thing. A lot of your units don't need to be as fast as they are. I think your haste could be like 30 speed slower. I don't think it matters. Right? Yeah, Tristan, I think if you play like really aggressive, right? You might want to look into something like 28, 27k HP with like 300 or 290 something crit damage. He naturally rolls so much speed. Yes, some accounts are just really speed seeded. Like, some people are born with that, right? In Veritas, IG and EX Jello, he's like a resident Banshee gamer. He's done like maybe a week of Wyvern in his life. I'm pretty sure he's top 5 like top speed players in NA or global. That guy is freakishly fast. I've seen him roll a 312 speed ran sitting on my couch in the duration of 45 minutes. It was just like 20, 22, 23, and 24 speed. 3 of those on speed set. In one single sitting. Yup. Like, some people are just born like that, you know? Rem is too squishy, though. I think the damage is, like, good. But I think, like, Rem just needs to survive, especially with something like Sig. Can he what now? Steve, where are you getting these terminology from? That's like something STG would say. XTD. I really don't like Penset XTD. I think Penset XTD is a huge waste. I think you want to go for full crit. Maybe go Draco Plate. I think even Snow Crystal is better. Little Queen Huge Crown is better against FCC and Hwayoung, right? You kind of have options. But I would personally take the second Draco. It's very good if you can afford it. Yeah, this is a 10-month-old account, so it's like, I think like if you have good pen gear, it just goes somewhere else. If not, just run crit. Wait, are we talking about the REM or the XDD? I'm talking about XDD, right? Yeah. I think you can just go crit set. Honestly, any set with a gear score works. Silk. I mean, I think it'll work. Silk works. Like, that's a unit. I don't think it matters too much. Banshee unit. This unit just needs to exist. Do you have Stella Harpa anywhere? No Stella Harpa? Oof. No Stella Harpa kind of sucks, but I think you run touch. Alright, that's like all your PvP units, right? Out of units? I mean, I think like for 10 months, like your account has like a pretty big roster. Which is decently impressive. So, like, let's look at some with the RTA drafts, right? Do I have Iseria built? Yeah, I have Iseria built. I'm not on my account right now. If you want to see my stats, you'd be able to find it here. Okay. We'll look at the wins and then we'll look at the losses. See Lilia's Hwayoung, first pick. Right, no DN, no Rimuru, no Ida. That's kind of rough. Just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, if you got Ida, like, I think this account will actually get unlocked. Because you have a pretty good Peira and your Emilia is pretty solid. Like, I think that's one of the things that would really pop this account off. But I think you're kind of on point as far as, like, identifying your own playstyle. Once you get Ida, though, once you get Opsig, once you get Ida, you can probably unleash the Hwayoung. Especially, like, when you get DN, Opsig, and Ida, you unleash the Hwayoung. I think your account will be fine. Especially with, like, how aggressive your gear rolls are. First pick, a Ravi, hand guy. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. Ran, C. Lilius. You have a designer Lilibet. I think you can unleash the Ran. Like, you have designer Lilibet, a Ravi Crozet, right? So you only need to have 2 of those exist in a draft to really check around. So, like, you pick 2 out of the 3, and I think you should be able to beat around. So I would recommend experimenting with, like, not banning Ran. Cause I think you're lacking more Hwayoung answers than anything else. First pick, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1. Yeah, like you're fine here. How does this Cidd make you feel? I mean, that's a build. For like that little speed, I would assume it could come with way more damage, you know? This guy tapped out after Cidd outsped. I just think it's kind of wild. He took a green Cidd and he's just trying to play into an Cidd like that. Oh, okay, I see. I think if you're going like KJ style cleaving, you probably go with like a safer build. Cause like the problem with Rage in PvP is never that it's not good value, it's that you can't guarantee the value. Could gear your own Ran, but only around 303 speed? Isn't that fine though? It's for memes and lower RTA. Man, I got a meme in lower RTA. It's like every season, I'm like, wow, I gotta climb myself to Emperor and then meme on guys in Emperor. And then it gets kind of challenging and I'm like, man, why did I climb? Every season it's like that. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Wait, okay, we looked at this. We looked at this. 1, 1, 2. Okay. Yeah, there's 100 ways you could just bully this all day. I think this is like more than adequate. I do think he fucked up his post ban though. Yo, what's up, LD? Yeah, I basically stream every day, right? Also, every Thursday I do account reviews. Right? So it's like, I kind of got to pull up for the boys. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is fun. Yeah, last I heard that piece was photoshopped. I don't know, man. Like, I'm trying to help Lim Bomber with this account. You don't have to make this stream about you, man. That's all I'm gonna say, alright? Alright, first big hand guy. 1, 2. Okay, hold up. Let's go through all the wins, and then we'll go through the losses. It's like, that's cool, right? I'm not here to make any accusations. I'm just reporting to you what I heard. And I'm requesting you hereby formally as the streamer, please don't make this stream about you. I'm trying to help Lim Bomber. Is that okay with you? Can we have a handshake on that? Is that cool? It's not, I'm not like believing one way or another. I'm just telling you, people told me in DMs, that's Photoshop. This guy likes to get attention everywhere. He's posting it in every Discord server. I'm just telling you what it is. Please don't make the stream about you. Is that okay? Like, that's a yes or a no? Really into the idea of a rage set for Politis for aggro support. Yeah, it's just a little hard, right? Like, respectfully, I'm not making any accusations, right? Okay, yeah, if we're cool on it, like, let's cool it, right? If you want to meme around with it afterwards, like, it's all good. What you come back to? Don't worry about it, Red. You're good. Okay, so Hwayoung first pick. I kind of like this, right? You go, like, really aggressive on it. Double support. 1-2. You block 2 supports with the Politis. Wait, that's like... Yo, any reverse cleavers? I think like your draft here is pretty good. I don't think you even had to ban the Sea Lilius, especially considering what your Peira looked like. But since you didn't have a cleanser for the attack down, like that's safer. Yeah, cause I think like I might even be inclined to ban this. But as far as like your draft goes, like this is pretty safe. Right, and then Lion Landy, solid. Yeah, I think like the way you draft is like pretty good. For a 10-month account, you have a very like developed draft identity, right? And the cool part is like you already know what you want. You know you're looking for DN. You know you're looking for Ida. And we didn't talk about this in DMs, but if you had Obstig, I think like your account would really pop off. So 1, 1, 2. Okay, yeah. So when you get put in a situation like this, right? 1, 2. I think this is fine. I don't know. Like Stenny here could have been a fire unit, and you see how he reacts, and you can last pick a Stenny. Because usually the way I like to punish like 2 picks of the same element, especially if they're both DPS units, right? Is you take 2 fire units. And this might just be like a hero pool issue. Was trying to force a shoe? Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I think the draft is really solid. Yeah, like I think Stenny even on this is a little bit hazardous to take. Because you have to consider, right? You might want to even like ban one of these. Like if you had a Fire Charlotte, it was like Fire Charlotte and Mercedes, and then actually wait, what fire units do you have? I think getting like 2 comfortable DPS units of any element is really important, and it's one of those things you want to do, right? Hwayoung was banned. Milim's too aggressive. That might have been a carrot, but I think he had Designer, right? So that wasn't it. Mercedes was in. So I think Fire Charlotte is probably like one of your upcoming builds. Right, especially in Standard, like it fleshes out your options. I don't think she's like a every game hero, but when she does come out, right, you'd be able to take some games. One of the ways in Standard to check 2 DPSs of the same element coming out in the same rotation is, like, if you just take Mercedes plus Fire Charlotte, or AOL plus Fire Charlotte, and then Mercedes last, he's checked, right? Oh no, Rambo. Rambo's, are you here to do the daily? Oh no, I've fallen and I can't get up. And then I finish this account review, I go back to queuing, and then somehow this guy's top 30 again. Are we going back to that cycle? Okay. Rimuru. Support tank, support lion. That's a curious lion. So, I really hate pivoting into aggro or cleave when you've already picked a knight. This is why I don't really like early knights. I think early knights is only viable for people who are only playing standard. Cause right now knights feels like you either pick knights first or you pick them last. Especially if you want to be flexible, you kind of are stuck picking them last, and you pick all of your aggressive stuff first. And then if you have to, you pick it last. You see what I mean? So I think ideally, if you want to be able to still swing into like an aggressive draft, it's like support into a DPS. So into like these two, I honestly don't have a good suggestion, because like these two are removed. Stenny would be safe, but not into Bellion. Just got Iseria this season. Got it. Yeah, I'll put that down in notes for you. Iseria came out too early? A little bit. I think Iseria is a lot weaker than when Iseria Ram first got popularized. She kind of needs to come out like 4th. I think 3rd pick is a little early, right? Because 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Coming out on 3rd with a speed imprint when you only have 1 activator and then you need a 2nd activator and then you could get banned out feels really bad. And I think he kind of like schmooved you on the post ban too, right? Because Politis checks Iseria here. And then he bans Iseria and based your ban on Politis. Because I think if you banned the ball, you had a pretty good shot. Like, you could have possibly won. Yeah, also as Rug said, right? In your first 2 picks, you either want power picks or you want to be able to check your opponent. Right, you do one of the two. So if you're playing like standard style, where you're playing like pure standard, like Ace Trainer, right? You would go A-Ross hand guy, and you're just dedicated to playing standard. But if you're trying to play flexible, then your units just need to be able to check his. Yeah, also like Steve said, if you ban ball, you had Cidd, right? I think either way, post ban was kind of a 50-50. Okay, first pick. Oh, first pick A Ravi. This is where it gets kind of dangerous, but I do think that's fine, right? So, okay, we like unleash the we unleash the Sea Lilius, A Ross, Hwayoung. Hanga LQC is pretty dirty here. 1, 2. I think here you should have countered with Emilia on this pick and then A Ross. Cause the shoe kind of stilted your draft in a way where this is the best pick. You could have picked shoe a lot later. So one of my ways I always like to draft in standard is I kind of make sure my first 3 picks is very safe or consistent, and usually that consists of like 1 tank, 1 support, and 1 neutral carry, right? If you like watch my standard draft video, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's usually one of the easiest ways for you to draft, if you get to open your first 3 units like that, especially when we have first pick, right? Your opponent stares at that. There's not a lot of good ways to break through that if they're also a standard player, especially when you're playing A Ross. Shoe force of the day, keep losing into Alencia. You can't force her early. She's a late pick unit for when they have Hwayoung and when they have like A Ravi as well. Like, you gotta pick her later, and you can open the Hwayoung. If you want to tap 4 shoe, open Hwayoung. Okay, and then first pick hand guy. Hwayoung A Ravi. So how I would play this is I would take Emilia Hwayoung here. Or I would take A Ross Hwayoung. Right? Cause if you take A Ross here, you take away his ability to you take away his ability to play like hand guy A Ross, right? Which is super safe. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. I think Green Violet's good here. I think Choux fairly good here. But we do get put in a situation where we have 2 focus units, Solitaria and Lion. Honestly, the answer here was you ban Solitaria and you play through the Lion. Because Roana's the force ban. He has to ban that, right? So if he has to ban the Roana, it means we get to keep Hwayoung. If we get to keep Hwayoung, this unit is not a problem. Right? I think that's kind of an experience thing. And if you recognize that and you ban the Soli, I think that's a dub. I think in your mind, you thought he was going to ban this and leave up the Roana, which is like 4 unit extra attack, 4 unit counter attack, 4 unit counter attack. Like, no way. Right? So he had to ban the Roana. I think it's just experience. Recognizing what the opponent will force ban. Yeah. So like this was pretty close to winning. I think like not picking up Emilia here is probably fine. But Emilia Hwayoung is like a really scary combo, you know? Because as long as it's not Rem, right? You pull up, like, Emilia can pull up Hwayoung, you could kick anything. Right? He has no mitigator, so Emilia Hwayoung, you pull the Hwayoung, you could kill anything in the game. That's not a water unit. So, like, a pretty good power play. But I do like this rotation. I think as far as your drafting, right, this is kind of how I like to evaluate people's drafting. And this is what I've noticed. Your first rotation... Also, wait, let's look at this game. First pick a Ravi with Beast Band. 2. We kind of have to force ban their second, right? 1, 2. He goes Stenny. Do we have a Bellion? If you have a Bellion, I think you need to pick the Bellion more often against Stenny if you're going to let Stenny go. No Bellion. Oof. So, my recommendation is this. As you flesh out your units more, think about unleashing the Ran because you have enough answers. Think about unleashing the Hwayoung, because I think you're close to having enough answers. And think more about banning Bellion. And that way, it lets you more proactively play Stenny. Right? And if your opponent picks Stenny, you don't have, like, a Bellion to answer back. Right? I think that's a pretty big problem. Should you pick up DJB from this rotation? I'm not really sure I feel the DJB pickup. Wait, do we even have an FCC on this account? I think FCC is more important than DJB. If you've been watching the games I play recently, I use FCC way more than I use DJB. DJB only comes out when somebody picks an early Peira. Oh yeah, also wait to see ML Pavel's kid. Reefer makes a really good point there. So I'll put it like this, right? If you look at the way I play Standard, which is I'll draft my support and DPS first, right? And I'll pick my knight like pretty close to last. And most of the time I pick a knight in Standard versus Standard, they already have a Ross, right? Which means I'm going FCC on 4 or 5. And now with FCC as a late pick, you know how like people say like, oh, a Ross is the best Standard knight, right? FCC is just as good in that spot. Right? FCC literally stopped being a good knight because you can't pick her early anymore, right? What happens if you pick her early? Right into DJB Opsig, right? And that's the only threat. But if I pick her late, I still think she's better than A-Ross. Oh. But yeah, that's the account review, man. Before Opsig, I think before DJB buff, because Opsig you can always just force ban the Opsig, right? That's happened enough times. All right, do you have any other questions for me for as far as the account goes? I have your like notes right here. I don't have too much honestly, because I think overall you kind of know what you're doing. Guild War defense, okay. Let's take a look real quick. No C Lilius is a little bit weird. You might just have to run like a really weird defense, honestly. No FCC, so okay. So I'll tell you the 3 main archetypes of Guild War defense teams, okay? There is a Peira defense with Peira Iseria +1. There is a C Lilius team that's usually C Lilius plus 2 DPS units. So C Lilius Mercedes Rimuru, C Lilius APOC Rimuru, C Lilius APOC Mercedes, right? Something like that. And then there's an FCC team, and it would be FCC plus 2 units you can't Opsig. So FCC plus like Celine and Violet, right? Something like that. And those are like the 3 common ones I've seen. As far as like going for, you know, like top 100, top 30. If you want to like go for actual GVG, I'm not the right streamer to ask. Team 2 looking spicy. I think you need a mitigator there to protect that. And I don't think it gets any better than like, if you really want, right? Here's what I would try to do. I don't know if you've ever tried this. This makes a Rem really hard to kill, right? And basically, the usual way to kill something like this is you would kill the Crozet before the Rem, but this activates your Rem for free, right? I would try something like that, but I think your Rem needs to be tankier for that. That's kind of all I got for you. You're kind of checked on unit pool, so I can't give you too much input there. But I do think your account could potentially play aggro and cleave in the future. Because aggro and cleave don't need a lot of units. You just need the right units. The crazy thing about playing aggro and cleave is that it has a huge requirement on gear. But I think your account rolls pretty good gear, so probably good for that. That's what I would look to play for your account. That's for sure. So yeah. Let me know anything else I can do for your account while I'm still on here. Yeah, if not, I'm just gonna run you your review notes, and hopefully, you know, you do what you gotta do with that. Anything you should prioritize. Yeah, we can look through it. I think I kind of went over this earlier, right? I think FCC, DN. Let's see. FCC, DN are kind of like 2 of the most important ones, right? I think Ida's super important. Rimuru's like, I don't think it'll ever hurt to have one. C Lilius, obviously. You already have hand guys, so I think LQC is probably good. Lion's really good if you ever, like, don't go super aggressive and you just play more standard. Oh, yeah, I think your account will be insane with an Opsig. I mean, Closer Charles is good, but on an $80 budget right now, like, you don't have coins, right? So I can't recommend, like, picking up a Closer Charles. But, you know, one day in the future, since they're doing, like, that triple banner for Mystics, so, you know, you should be able to get him, like, in the maybe near future, something like that. Try on her banner last for Opsig. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think you'll be fine, because you definitely know what you're doing with, as far as your resource goes and your distribution. far as aggro players, I think Bellion, you don't really need the Bellion, right? If you can let yourself pre-ban Bellion most of the time, I don't think you need one. Aggro accounts. I don't really think you're missing anything. You even have B-Dom, and B-Dom's really strong. See Lilius Bellion? I would absolutely do that. I think, like, the most intuitive bans, right? If your second pick, it's C Lilius plus AOL. If your first pick, it's C Lilius AOL. And if your second pick, it's C Lilius plus Bellion. Or Bellion AOL. And then it's C Lilius Bellion. Because I think banning Bellion just makes the game so much simpler. Because you can play Steny, right? Because if you think about the trifecta of good neutral carries right now, right? You have this unit, which is really good against slower teams. You have this unit, which is really good against faster teams and teams that really need to sustain their tempo. And then you have this unit, which is good against anything that's not Bellion. And I think if you really want to enable playing Steny a lot more, it's just post-ban or pre-ban Bellion. So account analysis on channel points, yes. Alencia hurts a lot more right now when being more aggressive. Yeah. Wait. You don't have an Alencia, right? That's why she's a problem? Yeah. I think picking up an Alencia is good, but I don't know how long she'll stay strong for. You see the shoe? Sure. Yeah, if you play Steny as much as I do, I would absolutely pre-ban Bellion. It's gonna be Bellion C Lilius if your second pick, right? First pick is Bellion AOL. Yeah, I think the stat line is fine, but I don't think you need the pen set. I think the pen set is turbo overrated. Yeah, I think you just like drop your attack, go up HP, go up crit, go up speed, and then just go on Draco plate. And then if you swap to a crit set, I think you'll be fine. Yeah, I think this is a super nice account for 10 month. I've reviewed enough accounts in like my year and a few months of doing account reviews. I'm sufficiently impressed is all I can say. But yeah, man, let me save your document. I just have a notepad for you with all the notes I think you could improve on. And let me ping that to you in the Discord server. He can switch to Elbrus? I don't think so. That's a knight artifact. You look at this icon, that's a sword icon, which is for warriors. So it's like, as a warrior, you can't really use knight artifacts in this game. So my recommendation would be to swap this on a Draco plate. Also, I don't think she needs an Elbrus because she has it built into her S3. Alright, and yeah, let me log out of your account real quick.